Welcome to the 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs. Today we have Coach Darvin in the building. And we will be talking about a series of questions on financial literacy. Coach Darvin, can you tell the people how you're feeling today? Coach Darvin Moore, everyone.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the coach in the building. Listen up. Today, my wife is hosting the 100 Gems podcast, home of the champs. Listen, like I told you guys before, she the real champ. So, one thing about financial literacy is that, a lot of people fail to realize the importance of it. And so, today, what we're going to be doing is dissolving a lot of myths around how finances work, how credit works, just to give you guys some real tips on how it goes. So I'm ready for these questions. I know you put some stuff together for me real well, and I'm ready to go. So what's the first question that you have for me here today?
Okay, Coach Darvin, the first question we have is checking your credit score will lower it.
So we're dealing with credit myths, right? Checking your credit score will not lower your score, right? Because you have two things. You got a hard inquiry and you got a soft inquiry. And so a soft inquiry is when you look at your credit report on Identity IQ, Credit Karma, right? Or something like that. And that does not affect your score. So you can look at that as many times as you want. As a matter of fact, I recommend you look at your credit reports and scores, weekly, monthly, at least. So get credit monitoring, get identityiq.com, because it's very important for you to take a look at what's going on. And I like Identity IQ because it gives you all three credit reports side by side, okay? And it's a better format for you to really start understanding how that works. So checking your score doesn't hurt it. But if you go to the bank and you apply for a credit card or something like that, of course, guys, that's going to affect the score. But maybe you need that credit card. Maybe you need that home loan. So I hope that makes sense. But make sure that you use or do inquiries in a strategic way. Don't just go out doing inquiries for credit cards, loans, and things like that without having a plan. What's the next question you got?
Okay, yes. So the next question is co-signing doesn't make you responsible.
Co-signing doesn't make you responsible. Of course, no co-signing, guys. Listen, don't co-sign. The best thing to do is just get a person ready, right? Get a person ready. Like, why would you co-sign for your son when you can get him ready when he's 18 and start building that profile? Why would you co-sign for somebody that you just met 2 months ago? Because that's on your credit report. It affects your overall score. So don't co-sign. Even when it comes to mates, right? Like you said, hey, this my wife. This is my girlfriend. I'm a co-sign for her. Well, I think it's better for you to just help her build access, right? Help her build her credit, right? Her profile, so that she can get it herself. Because what happens when you co-sign, it's almost like, I tell people all the time, I'll say it this way. Certain banks, let's go with Wells Fargo, they have a cap on how much they'll give you on a product. That's called a credit card. They'll say maybe that credit card cap is, $25,000. Now, if you and this person do this card together, now you're only able to get $25,000. But if you do it separately, they get the card and you get the card. Now that's $50,000 that you have access to, that you can, purchase assets or things to invest in. So I hope that's clear. We want to stay away from co-signing, because if that person is late as well, you're late, it affects your score. I've seen so many horror stories in reference to co-signing. All right. So I'm ready. Listen, let's go.
Okay, what about this one? Closing old accounts boosts your credit score.
Closing old accounts boosts your credit score. Now that's definitely a myth. When you close an account, you are no longer getting score for that particular account. Now, whatever scores you got in the past from it, of course, okay, you have that scorage for that, but it starts diminishing as well after so long, because they're not reporting monthly. The way you score is by having things added to the report, or things that are on the report that's being reported every month, okay? So for example, if somebody had an 800 credit score 3 years ago and they close all of their accounts, they're not going to have an 800 credit score today, because they don't have history. So that shows you there that closed accounts are not the right way to go, okay? The more accounts that you have that are reporting monthly on time is the most effective way to gain scorage. Okay. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And we thank you for sharing this lovely information with us. Now, the next question I have, does all loans affect your credit equally?
Does all loans affect your credit equally? So a loan is an installment account, okay? And so an installment account affects your credit score in the payment history areas. The more history you have there, the better. Now, multiple loans is okay as well as long as you pay them on time. Now, but what loans can do when you're talking about a negative effect, it can affect your debt to income ratio, right? How much you're paying out. For example, we had a client that had over $200,000 in loans. And so now they were going to get a home and they couldn't get the home because they had to pay $3,000, $4,000, whatever that was a month on that loan, which didn't allow them the ability to be able to pay the home loan. Same thing with student loans. You know, a lot of people have student loans, and when they're trying to get a home, what happens is the bank looks at how much in student loans you have to see what your debt to income ratio is to let you know whether you can get that said loan or not. So when I hear that question, that's the angle that I go there.
Okay. And so, does paying off your debt removes it from the credit report?
No, it doesn't. Paying off your debt is just shows that the debt is paid off. So it doesn't remove it from the credit report. Now, if we're talking about a debt that was negative, like a collection or a charge-off account. Now, what happens with a collection or charge-off account, what I normally recommend before you pay that collection or that charge-off account is that you ask that company to remove that from your credit report. Okay. That's the best thing to do. We got my main man came in the build. I'm just going to shake his hand. Come on in, Rob. Rob, come on in, man, and shake your forehead.
What's
Y'all,
up, guys?
this is another one of the champs. You know what I mean? He came in looking smooth as usual. We just knocking off some business and personal myths, just giving it right to him today.
Okay.
Rob,
okay,
so
okay.
if you get some time, you can come on and chime in with us.
Oh, no
But-
doubt.
Okay, but right now we just knocking it out, Rob.
All right, do your thing.
Yes,
baby.
sir.
I
Yes,
see you
sir.
got the wifey, boy.
Yeah, I got the wife with me,
on
so
the right
you know it's good. You know it's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm ready for this next one here.
Does young people need to worry about the credit?
Do young people need to worry about their credit? Absolutely. Listen, guys, I think it's our job to get the youth ready for the next level of the game. Now, when we talk about young people, what age are we talking about? I say this, we should start building our children's a business profile right away. So when they turn 18, you can hand the business over to them. If they're business savvy before 18, get them involved in the business, but form the business for the youth, for your son, so that when he turns 18 or he's able to handle that business on his own, he has a working vehicle. Now, when we're talking about personal credit, of course, you can't establish a credit score until you're 18, or you can't even get a credit report until you're 18. So that doesn't mean that you can add some positive things to that score when they turn 18, but it doesn't make sense to try to start building a credit profile for someone that's under 18, okay? Because they can't get a report and they can't get any credit anyway. So make sure, guys, don't be putting those bills on those kids' name. Make sure that when they turn 18, that they have a shot. Because I've seen so many youth or younger folks that their mom or dad put them on this or that. And I don't think that's fair. So if I see you doing that, I'm going to let you know you did wrong. You did wrong. But it's real, though. We do that. Put electric bills and telephone bills in our children's name, not really realizing the effects that it causes later, because if they have bad credit, they pay more. And that's not fair. All right.
So, can all credit repair services fix your credit score?
Can all credit repair services fix your credit score? Well, I'm going to say this. I think that we should all be armed to understand what credit is. And when we're looking at credit repair companies, all aren't created equal. We had a community meeting. We talked about pastors. All pastors aren't the same. We talked about bankers. All bankers aren't the same. Some bankers are good. Some bankers don't care about you. And this goes in all fields of life. So when we're talking about credit, what I want you to understand is that when you're dealing with a credit repair agency, you should be making sure that you vetted them that somebody refers you to them, that's good. But more importantly, make sure that the credit repair agency is disputing all the negative items that's on the credit report. Remember, guys, that any items that are 2 years or less being late, it directly affects the credit score. The more recent that it was late, the more it affects the credit score. So my advice is always, guys, to dispute all of the negative items, whether you owe the money or not. I'm not telling you not to pay the money, but when it comes to your credit report, you should dispute it until it comes off. Ask the credit bureaus to verify or remove, dispute those items. And if you don't have the time, find a credit repair company or agency that does that can help you. Now, I will say this is going to be a shameless plug on my side, that we have a product called the cheat sheet, okay? And the cheat sheet, my team would divide these credit letters for you, these dispute letters for you. We'll send them to your email, and you simply put that letter in the mailbox every month. And this is just for disputing negative items, okay? Because when you're talking credit repair, it's normally from the aspect of removing negative items. And since we're on this subject, this is what I want you to know. All negative information can be removed, no matter what it is. If you were late on your mortgage, it can come off. If you were late on your car note, it can come off. If you was late on a student loan, it could come off. If you was late on a credit card, it could come off, right? So, but if you was late for that date with your wife, it's never gonna come off, okay? It ain't gonna come off her mind. And what's next?
Is credit only important when home buying?
Is credit only important with home buying? Y'all answer that for me. Of course not. Credit is always important. Everybody don't own a home, or everyone's not looking to own a home. So we should always be looking at our credit profile. I told you guys the one I like is identityiq.com. I'll leave a link below where you could get that for a discount, a promo code. We should always be looking at our credit report at all times. Very, very important. Did I answer that question correctly?
Yes, you did. You answered it lovely. So my next question for you is, you can't have more than 5 credit cards. Is that true?
Y'all answer that for me. I know a lot of people probably watching can answer that. Can you have more than 5 credit cards? Of course you can. I have over 40 credit cards. My wife has over 22, 25 credit cards. Dissolve that myth. You can have as many as you want. The other question is this: how does that affect your score? Remember, guys, the more items that you have reported monthly, the more impact you can have on that score. Okay, so that myth is dissolved. I know I used to think that, hey, you can't have more than these many credit cards because it can affect you negatively. How can credit cards affect your score negatively? It can affect you if you're using too much, right? If you're using over a certain amount. Credit cards are 30% of your overall credit score, which means if you're using over approximately 30%, most banks don't like you, and the scores, they start tanking. They start tanking at 20%. They start going down at 10%. 10% is a good place where it don't go down much, but it will go down, right? The sweet spot when we're talking about credit cards, which is revolving account, is 1 to 3%. So if you only owing about 1 to 3% of all your credit card debt total, then you'll have the best possible score based on that percentage. I hope that makes sense, guys. So to make a long story short, you can have many credit cards as possible, but the utilization on those credit cards is what will start affecting the scores.
Okay, and I want to dive right into the business credit myths.
Okay.
Starting a new business, you can't get a credit card or you can't get credit.
Well, starting a new business, listen, I love new business. I have a lot of new business clients, and that's a misconception. New businesses can get access to capital. A lot of banks have great programs for new businesses. You got credit unions and community banks that have great programs for new businesses. The most important thing is to have a plan, have a goal on what it is that you want to do, and you can bring that to the bank. And the bankers will look at that and they'll see what they can do for you. A lot of times people think that you need to be 2 years in business before you start getting business credit or business funding or business access. And that's not the case, guys. You can be a new business and you can get access. And if that's something that you want to talk about, then what I want you to do is reach out to me and my team, and we definitely can help you in that light, okay?
Okay, and are all business credit activities reported to the credit bureaus?
Are all business activities reported to the credit bureaus? Absolutely not. So with business credit, The difference between business and personal in that light, more things report to the personal credit than business credit. You have to be strategic with getting the things to report to the business credit. For example, if you have a business cell phone, it won't be reporting to the business credit. If you have a business electric bill, it won't report to your business credit. Now, if you get the right proper account that you know reports to the business credit profile, then that will happen. So you need to know what is reporting. It's very important as well that we start having at least, I always recommend at least 5 or 6 things to report to the business credit profile. You got Dun and Bradstreet, if you guys didn't know. You got corporate experience, business Equifax, right? You got the small business financial exchange. You got Cortera. You have many of them, but the main 3 are Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. And we should be looking at things that to report there. So all things don't report, okay, guys?
Now, we know that for-profit companies have a business credit profile. Now, does nonprofits have a business credit score?
Yeah, so all businesses have a business credit score if they have things reporting. I've had clients that have businesses for 3, 5, 10 years and don't have a business score. So all business have the capability of having a business score, but you need to make sure that you're doing business with the companies that report. So to answer that question, nonprofits, just as well as for-profit companies, can have a business score. Yes.
Okay. Your personal credit score doesn't affect your business credit score. Is that true?
Does your personal credit score affect your business credit score? Absolutely not. Okay. There are 2 different scores, personal and business. Now, they do intertwine in a way because a lot of people think that you don't have to have good personal credit to get some business funding. And in some cases, they're right. But to really get access to money, the business will look at the personal credit profile. And if the personal credit profile is good, then what happens is you'll get better rates and you'll get the access that you need. On the business side, you want to look, the way that they don't connect would be more on the line of like store cards, right? Like Home Depot, Lowe's, things like that. Those are the type of accounts. You could get those accounts without them looking at the personal credit report, and they'll give you the business only a credit. Now, they still want you, a lot of them want you to have some type of business credit reporting before they give you that said credit. It's a little catchy. It's like a catch-22, but this is why I tell all businesses to make sure that you have some things reported. And if that's a hard thing for you, do me a favor, go to nav.com. They give you business credit reports and scores, but they also report the fact that you paid them for that credit monitoring. So NAV is a business credit monitoring site. So get nav.com. That's the first thing that you can have reporting, okay? And if you want some more access or you want a consultant, reach out to me. Let me do some one-on-one with you so I can get you to the next level of the game. We also have an app called the Business Genie that actually can help you really navigate the world of business credit, okay? It's called Business Genie. If that's something that you want to look at, we'll actually leave a link below or reach out to me and my team, 414-404-8884, okay? 414-404-8884, and we definitely can help you navigate in the business realm.
Okay, Mr. Moore, we thank you for coming in today and sharing your knowledge with us. Listen, guys, this is 100 Gems Podcast, home of the champs. Peace.
Peace. Hey, and thanks for having me, y'all. It's the coach.